Hi, Chad. Today we're reacting to disturbing events that accidentally captured on TV. Lock in, lock the fuck in. Come on. Make sure to follow my Twitch xyvf_live3. Let's get into this shit.
A woman said the wrong word on TV and accidentally revealed she was dating a killer. A live baseball game became the worst night of a child's life, and a fun outdoor event ended with people running for their lives. These are disturbing events accidentally captured on TV. The goal, as usual, is 2.5 million subscribers by the end of 2026. It is crazy, so it would mean the world if you subscribe, and I will do my very best to put out the best videos I can for you. I'm Visual Venture, and you are awesome. The Witness with a Dark Secret. In August 2002, Britain was looking for two missing girls. The story was everywhere. Reporters were interviewing anyone who might have seen them. One local man appeared on camera acting like a helpful witness. But there was something viewers didn't know. He was the man responsible for the missing girls, and he was pretending to help solve a crime he committed himself. The girls were named Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. They were only 10. Police launched a massive search. At the time, it was the largest missing child search in the country. Soon, TV crews arrived in Soham. They followed the search as it unfolded.
The search for Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman has tonight been extended to fields near their primary school.
Reporters wanted to retrace the girls'
Motherfucker, it's a child that went missing. It's a child that went missing. Holy shit.
Movements. So they spoke to the people in the community. That was when Ian Huntley stepped forward. Huntley was a caretaker at the girls' school. He also lived nearby. That made his story important. A reporter interviewed him on TV.
How do we know they were here at 6:15? Well, we have an eyewitness. Ian Huntley here is a familiar figure.
Huntley seemed genuinely concerned, but he was about to lie to the entire country. The reporter asked Huntley what he knew, and Huntley claimed he saw the girls shortly before they vanished. He said he was outside his house when the girls walked by.
Well, I don't know the girls. I stood on the front doorstep grooming my dog down. They just came across.
He claimed Holly and Jessica stopped to say hello. Then the girls walked away.
And off they walked in the direction of the library over there.
The reporter pointed out how important Huntley's sighting was.
And you may, as it turned out, have been the last person to actually chat to them before they vanished.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Huntley seemed worried, just like the rest of the community.
While there's no news, then there's still that glimmer of hope, and that's basically all we're all hanging on to.
To be fair though, like you gotta give it to him. This is the fucking top tier performance, because you ain't expecting him if he's like, this is what we're all hoping for. Like, we're hoping it's an accident, we're hoping we find them. Motherfuckers on that track.
The interview looked normal. A local man was sharing what he knew, but Huntley was creating a false trail, and everyone was about to discover the disturbing truth. During the investigation, the police looked into Huntley. After all, he was the last person who saw the girls before they disappeared. But Huntley said he couldn't have done anything wrong. He had an alibi. He claimed he was with his girlfriend Maxine Carr all night. When officers questioned Maxine, she backed up Huntley's story. TV crews were still in the area. Since Maxine lived in the community, reporters interviewed her as well. But one part of her interview stood out. She spoke about the missing girls in past tense, almost like she knew they were never coming back.
And that's the kind of girl she was. She was just lovely, really lovely.
That raised a serious red flag, so police checked Maxine's alibi, and they found a problem. Maxine told officers that she was with Huntley the night the girls disappeared, but that was not true. Police discovered she was miles away in another town, Grimsby. That meant Maxine lied. And now investigators had one big question. Why was she lying? Suddenly, because of this, Huntley became the prime suspect. Officers searched Huntley's home and his workplace. That search exposed the truth. Police found burned clothing in Huntley's storage unit at the school. The clothes belonged to Holly and Jessica.
Oh my god, motherfucker killed the girls.
August 17th, 2002, police arrested Ian Huntley and Maxine Carr.
In the last few hours, a 28-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman have been arrested.
That same day, police found Holly and Jessica's remains in a ditch in Suffolk. Huntley's TV interview.
Yeah! UK! I mean, I shouldn't be cheering about this because he killed a girl, but I know I'm being really insensitive, but like, come on, they mentioned the UK, we have to lock him.
Now looked completely different. He was never a helpful witness. He was the killer hiding in plain sight. After Huntley's arrest, police looked into his past. They found a long history of inappropriate behavior involving children. At trial, Huntley confessed to the crime, but he claimed it was an accident. In December 2003, he was given 2 life sentences. Maxine Carr admitted lying to protect her lover, Huntley. She was sentenced to 3.5 years in jail for perverting the course of justice.
To be fair, 3.5 years isn't bad for like backing someone up, but I would just say, oh, I'm with him. I ain't trying to. I won't with him. I won't with him. I won't with him. Fuck him. Take him to jail. He's a liar.
Then,
How can you live with someone knowing that they killed kids? Like the fuck? I don't care if that's your lover. If my girlfriend killed kids, I wouldn't be all over that shit, bro. I'd be like, what the fuck?
more than
Like, no offense. If it's something little, like, oh, she fucking, I don't know, she stole from a shop, I'd lie. But if it's like, she fucking killed someone, I don't want to be around that. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry. I'm sorry if you're watching this, love, but I couldn't do it.
20 years later, the story had one final twist. In February 2026, Huntley was attacked in prison. He passed away from his injuries in March 2026. The viewers in this next chapter thought they were watching a
He was stabbed, imprisoned. Valid. Fuck him, he killed kids.
funny moment, but they were actually
I know I'm insensitive, but sometimes you just gotta put it out there that he killed kids. So it's a valid reaction. It's like the rapists that go to jail when they get stabbed up. Like, I don't condone violence, but jail isn't enough of a punishment.
watching a man fighting for his life. The joke that made a country cry. Tetsushi Yanagira was a Japanese TV host and comedian. His job was to make people laugh, but one day he made a mistake. Instead of making viewers laugh, he almost lost his life on live TV. It happened in June 2008. Tetsushi was hosting a mud wrestling game show on TV. The rules were simple. 2 people stood back to back on a raised platform. Once the round started, each person tried to push the other into the mud. On camera, the mud pit looked harmless, but in reality, it was extremely dangerous. The top layer was soft, but only a few inches below that, the ground was hard and solid. The games began. A few people were pushed into the mud. Everyone laughed. No one got hurt. Then someone in the crowd suggested the host, Tetsushi, should try it. He agreed. He climbed onto the platform, smiling and joking with the crowd. The audience was excited, but within minutes, the laughter would turn into panic. Tetsushi stepped into position on the platform. Almost immediately, he looked unsteady. They started the challenge, and he quickly lost his balance. He waved his arms and fell headfirst into the mud.
Ooh.
Viewers burst into laughter, but the moment Tetsushi hit the ground, he stopped moving. The impact affected his spine. That meant he couldn't move even if he wanted to, but nobody understood what happened. The audience thought he was staying still to make the moment funnier, so the laughter continued, and the cameras kept rolling. Almost a minute passed before people realized something was wrong. The broadcast quickly ended, and Tetsushi was rushed to a nearby hospital. Doctors said he suffered severe spinal injuries. He couldn't walk again. After 10 months in the hospital, he went home in a wheelchair. He later appeared on television a few times after the accident. Viewers were heartbroken when they saw him again. They all saw the accident happen live, and they laughed because they thought they were watching a joke. Our next chapter is about a hostage situation that was broadcast live on national television.
That's crazy though.
The criminal who wanted
Like-
an
He just went head first. Head fucking first. I can't. It's so
audience.
hot.
In December
In my room.
2014, Australians watched a life and death situation unfold in real time. 18 people were being held hostage in a cafe. The gunman was not asking for money, and that made him even more dangerous. News cameras captured every tense moment. As the hours passed, it started to feel like nobody would make it out alive. The incident happened at the Lind Chocolate Cafe in Sydney. It was early in the morning. People were coming in to grab
Huh?
Mummy, chocolate.
My friend, huh?
Yeah.
For what?
Or saying for me.
Okay, can you give it back up?
Yeah, we will. Actually, no, never mind, not that. Like, do you have one with like big USB?
No, hold on. Holy distraction, man. Oh, fucking shit.
coffee before work. Then a man named Manharon Monis walked into the cafe. Monis ordered a cake and sat down like a normal customer, but after a while he asked to speak to the manager. The manager walked over to talk to him. Almost immediately, people noticed something was wrong. The manager looked terrified.
And then I just saw Tori facing him, bright red, hands down, sad and frightened.
Moments later, Monis pulled out a firearm. He ordered the manager to lock the doors. Everyone inside the cafe was now his hostage. Monis claimed Australia was under attack by the Islamic State, or in other words, ISIS. At the time, ISIS was one of the most feared extremist groups in the world. Police arrived within minutes. While officers surrounded the cafe, they ran a background check on Monis. They wanted to understand who he was and what he might want. What they discovered about Monis made the situation even more disturbing.
Manharon Monis was a self-styled sheikh well known to ASIO and police. He'd been charged with organising the murder of his ex-wife.
At the
He murdered his wife? Why? Who does that?
time of the siege, Monis was out
Or did they get divorced and then he murdered her? Either way, it's not justified.
on bail. A psychiatrist also described them as a malignant narcissist obsessed with attention and control. That detail was important because as the siege continued, police realized Monis was not doing this for money. He was trying to send a message to the world, and he had no problem hurting people to get his point across. Soon the cafe was surrounded by reporters and live TV cameras. The siege was now a media spectacle. Monis seemed to enjoy the attention, as one hostage later explained.
He wanted public acknowledgement of what he was doing.
Monis forced hostages to
I think that it gets to a point. Like, you don't want to hold motherfuckers hostage that they haven't done anything to you, they don't even know you, they don't even know you exist. You know what I mean? It gets to a point, what point are you trying to get across? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
stand near the windows. Then he made them hold up a black flag associated with extremist groups. Then Monis forced another hostage to call the media and read out his demands.
This is a message that I'm reading from someone who's standing in front of me. There's bombs in 3 locations.
Okay.
Monis claimed he planted 3 explosive devices around Sydney. That threat caused massive panic. Parts of the city were evacuated and locked down. But inside the cafe, the hostages faced a much more immediate danger. They were trapped with a man who was clearly unstable. The longer the siege continued, the more agitated Monis became. Soon, the desperate hostages began looking for any chance to escape. As the siege dragged on, Monis tried to maintain control. He ordered the lights turned off. He demanded police move further away from the windows. He wanted less pressure from outside. Then several hostages noticed an opportunity. While Monis was distracted, they made a run for it.
What you're seeing here is a woman now fleeing from another exit from this building, so that means 2 more hostages have fled. We've got 5 in total.
Been like,
Every time
I'm
someone
gone,
escaped,
I'm running.
Monis got angrier. And the angrier he got, the more unpredictable he became. Shortly after 2 a.m., Monis snapped. He wanted to prove he was still in control. So Monis turned on the cafe manager. He grabbed him and pulled the trigger. Just like that, an innocent man lost his life. The police outside heard the shot. They believed the remaining hostages were in immediate danger. So officers decided to storm the cafe. TV cameras captured the chaos live. Monis was injured by police. He didn't survive. But Monis was not the only person who passed away. One of his hostages also lost her life. She was hit by bullet fragments during the police raid. The surviving hostages ran out into the street. It was over. The siege lasted 16 hours and almost everything was aired on TV. Although Monis was gone, the police were still worried about the devices he placed around the city. Later, they found out he lied. There were none. Police also confirmed that Monis acted alone. It seemed he didn't have any ties to ISIS. Up next is a man who admitted to something so disturbing on TV that police showed up to arrest him outside the studio. The interview that ended in handcuffs. In 2025, a husband and wife were found buried in their own backyard. Someone ended their lives and hid the remains there. The police had one suspect. Then that suspect did something that no one expected. He went on TV to tell his side of the story. When he was done speaking, he didn't just seem guilty, he seemed insane. To understand why that interview was so disturbing, we need to know who the victims were. Their names were Franz and Theresia Kraus. They were both over 80 years old, and they lived in a beautiful home in Albany, New York. Sometime in 2017, they disappeared. Neighbors stopped seeing them, so people went to check the house. They found the couple's son, Lorenz, living there. When they asked about his parents, Lorenz had an answer ready. He claimed his mom and dad moved back to Germany. Franz and Theresia were German immigrants, so the story sounded believable. No one even tried to file a missing person report. 8 years passed, and in 2025, something finally triggered an investigation. Social security officers noticed Franz and Theresia were still receiving payments, but no one seemed to know where they were. That triggered a fraud investigation, and the first step was a welfare check at the Kraus home. Investigators found Lorenz still living there. Once again, he told the same story. He said his parents moved back to Germany, but investigators were not convinced. They believed Lorenz was collecting their social security benefits and using the funds for his own personal use. So they went to the police, and officers showed up at the house with a search warrant. They went through the home, searched the backyard, and then found the bodies. The remains belonged to Franz and Theresia. Lorenz was the obvious suspect, especially because he told everyone his parents were in Germany. Most people in that situation would get a lawyer, but Lorenz made his way to the nearest TV station. Lorenz contacted a local TV station asking to be interviewed. The reporters knew he was the man whose parents were found in the backyard, so they agreed to interview him. They began. At first, Lorenz talked about his parents getting older, but his speech was confusing.
When elderly start to fall down, the time comes that they started, beginning of the end.
It sounded like he was saying his parents got old, weak, and struggled to live normal lives. Then the reporter asked a direct question.
So, did you kill your parents as a mercy killing to put them out of their misery?
Lorenz tried to avoid giving a clear answer, but the reporter kept pressing until he answered.
What did you do to your parents?
I buried them in their property.
You buried them in the backyard of that house in Albany.
Right.
Lorenz confessed barely 10 minutes into the interview. The reporter asked what was going through his mind when it happened. Lorenz's answer was cold.
Not thoughts, action. Make sure it's done.
He didn't sound remorseful.
I did my duty to my parents.
But Lorenz did not stop there. He wanted others to copy him.
How can you kill your parents?
For the American people to recognize that there's 40 million boomers. They're all going to go through the same kind of problems. We need to widen up the law so that people can deal with these kind of problems.
After the interview ended, Lorenz walked out of the studio. Police were waiting for him. He was arrested almost immediately. But even after his arrest, Lorenz still wanted to talk. The next day, the same TV station interviewed Lorenz again. Except this time, he was behind bars. But he still believed he made the right decision. He even expected immunity because he felt he did America a service.
So I appeal to that as having prosecutorial immunity for this case.
Lorenz Krauss was charged with multiple crimes, including identity theft. He pleaded not guilty. His case is still moving through court. Lorenz gave police one of the most disturbing on-camera confessions ever recorded. This next broadcast showed people running for their lives on live TV. The worst 7 seconds on TV. In August 1988, 30,000 people showed up at the Ramstein Air Base in Germany. They came for an event called Flugtag 88. It was one of the biggest military air shows in Europe. During the event, military jets performed stunts in the sky. The crowd watched in awe. That day, TV cameras were set up, but it only took 7 seconds for the beautiful display to turn into a disaster. The main attraction was the Italian Air Force aerobatic team. They were known as the Frecce Tricolori. The pilots flew 10 jets in perfect formation while colored smoke streamed behind them. The crowd was excited. Then the Italian pilots prepared for their most famous stunt. It was called Pierced Heart. Some jets would curve left, others would curve right, one would fly through the middle. Together, they would form a giant heart shape in the sky. The team had performed this stunt dozens of times before, but not everyone believed it was safe.
The Protestant church president had warned against going to this flight day event because something could happen and that it was simply dangerous.
The warning was ignored.
Yeah.
The Pierced Heart performance started, and within minutes, the sky erupted into fire. The pilots began the stunt at 3:40 p.m.
The Tricolori, or tricolor arrows, tried to execute a difficult maneuver when something went wrong.
One pilot flew too low, but the jet was moving too fast to correct the mistake. Several jets collided in mid-air. Unfortunately, the jets were only 100 feet above the ground. Burning debris rained down. The crowd had no time to flee. The entire incident took took less than 7 seconds. TV cameras were broadcasting the show, so viewers at home saw everything. Eventually, the smoke cleared. Reporters interviewed the survivors at the scene.
Everybody was just running away from the fire because the cars got caught on fire, the trucks caught on fire. But one thing I got to say, the emergency people were there.
You would hope so. They're
People
fucking
lost their lives.
Let's play
Hundreds more
Fortnite.
were injured. That disaster
One slab and I'll
changed
play
air show
Fortnite,
safety
bro.
rules forever.
I've
After
never
the
played
incident,
Fortnite
Germany
online.
temporarily banned all
But
public
you know
air
you'll
shows.
get that cash
Countries
in,
around
so-
the world also introduced stricter safety rules for aerial
Nah.
performances. This next video was so shocking that a family begged the world not to air it. The game that destroyed a family. In July 2011, a baseball game was played in Arlington, Texas. As usual, it was
Baseball? I've
aired
never
on
watched
TV,
baseball in my
and the crowd
life.
was a 39-year-old firefighter named Shannon Stone. He was there with his 6-year-old son, Cooper. It was meant to be a special night for them, but before the game was over, that father-son moment would become a tragedy on live TV. The Texas Rangers were playing the Oakland Athletics. Shannon and Cooper were sitting near left field. Cooper was still very young, but he loved baseball. A foul ball flew near their section.
Lined but foul out.
A player jogged over to pick it up, but instead of keeping the ball, he tossed it into the crowd. That was normal at baseball games. Players often gave foul balls to fans as souvenirs. This time, the ball was tossed towards Shannon and
I've
Cooper.
never watched
Shannon
baseball in
reached
my
out to
life,
catch
but,
it. He
like,
wanted it as a
God
souvenir
damn.
for his son.
I know
but
it's
in 1
dangerous 'cause
second,
it's just a
that sweet
big
moment
ball
turned
flying
fate.
at
Shannon
people's
caught the
faces.
ball, but in the process, he lost
shit.
his balance. He went over the railing. The broadcast didn't show where he landed,
that's
but
gotta
people in
be-
the stadium knew.
Motherfucker, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt so bad. Imagine you just face plant. Motherfucker, you just face planting. Boom. That's gotta
I
hurt.
think somebody fell out of the stands and left
No,
field
genuinely,
trying to,
bro.
field a baseball.
On TV, the live broadcast moved past the moment, but behind the scenes, the situation was turning into an emergency. Emergency crews rushed to Shannon. He fell about 20 feet. He was
Fuck,
still
bro.
conscious when medics reached him. Shannon's first concern was his son, Cooper. He told the paramedic, "Y'all need to check on my son." Those were some of his final words. Doctors couldn't save him.
No.
Shannon passed away minutes later. Meanwhile, the game continued. Only after the game did players and fans learn the full news. The players were devastated, but soon the grief turned into a scandal because this wasn't the first fall at that stadium. A year earlier in the
What? There was another fall. Motherfuckers are just face planting off it. Oh, that's bad. But like if you're in the top row and like you have hella people behind you, someone pushes you, you're fucked.
same stadium, another fan fell while
Quite
reaching for a
insensitive to
ball.
say,
that
but it's
fan was
true.
injured,
You're
but
fucked.
he survived. Now it had happened again, and this time a father lost his life. People blamed the stadium, saying it could have been prevented. The authorities were
It could
under
have been,
pressure,
yeah.
so in the months that followed, the stadium raised the railings and added safety features around the stands. But while the stadium focused on safety, the victim's family had another concern. They felt people were disrespecting his memory. Footage
I would sue the fuck out of that stadium. I'd be like, my dad died. Yeah, this is emotional distress. I want 10 million in distress fees. And that wouldn't even make me get over it, but at least I can cry in my new Lambo.
of the fall spread quickly.
Like fuck.
News stations, sports shows, and even websites replayed it. The family begged broadcasters to stop showing the footage. They were worried about his son, Cooper. He already saw his dad fall in real life. They didn't want him to accidentally see it on TV again. Many news outlets respected the family's request. Later, hundreds of people attended Shannon's funeral.
Stone was a firefighter, husband,
Poor guy,
and father.
man.
With his
Fuck.
young son at a Rangers game last Thursday, he
The thing is, shit like this does actually happen, and I'm pretty sure it's quite common, which is fucked. Because they should be, with all the tech and gear that we've got nowadays, they should be working to protect the people, not working to save money. Because, you know, if you, you don't want to be there when people injure people. Games are always live. You don't want to
for
be
a ball tossed to the stands, lost
you know what
his
I mean?
balance.
To honor him, a statue of Shannon and Cooper was built outside the Rangers ballpark. It shows a father holding his son's hand. The Texas Rangers Foundation also set up a memorial fund to help the Stone family. This next chapter is about a man whose final moments were treated as entertainment.
I still
The
would
night
have sued the
wrestling
fuck out of
became
him, though.
fatal.
Don't give a fuck.
Professional wrestling is built on illusion. The characters, rivalries, and stunts are all planned, but during one live pay-per-view, the crowd saw something that didn't feel scripted. The cameras quickly turned away. The announcers didn't know what to say. The viewers slowly realized something was terribly wrong. The event was called Over the Edge. It was held inside an arena in Kansas City in May 1999.
Oh my
One of the
God.
wrestlers on the show was Owen
See, all
Hart,
this
but
dumbass shit, like when everyone's getting injured and shit, this is in America. I mean, yeah, towards the start of the video, some man killed 2 little girls in the UK, which is objectively worse than both of these, but, like, you know what I mean? Why are you atting
he was
people,
performing
Josh?
as
What are you
Lou
doing?
Laser. And for his entrance, Owen had something big planned. He
He's
wasn't
a
just
van
going
evader.
to
He's
walk
not even in
into
the
the ring.
ring
He was
anymore.
going to fly into it. Owen would be lowered from the rafters. Then he would land in the ring and
AI
continue
viewers,
the
which
act.
I'm not
It
buying.
wasn't the first time he performed this flying entrance, but this time it was
shit,
happening
motherfuckers.
during a major event on live TV. There was no room for mistakes. Sadly, a mistake happened, a fatal one. About
shit.
an hour into the show, Owen moved into position on the rafters. He was supposed to descend slowly, but the harness accidentally released while Owen was still high above the ring. He fell fast and stopped
the
moving.
fuck?
Meanwhile, the fans were cheering. Some thought it was part of the act. Others thought it was a doll that fell from the ceiling, but his fellow wrestlers knew it was real. The broadcast cut away from the scene. Medics rushed into the ring to perform CPR.
A very serious situation here at this point in time is being attended to by the EMTs.
Owen was taken to a hospital. Sadly,
he just
didn't make it.
falls?
I have the unfortunate responsibility to let everyone know that Owen Hart has died.
Owen was only 34, but the
way.
controversy did not end there. After the tragedy, most
Poor
fans
fucking
expected
guy. Poor fucking guy, man. Is that my package? Is that my fridge? Chat. We're gonna unbox the fridge on live today, by the way. We're gonna unbox my new fridge on live today. It should be coming in around 20 to 40 minutes.
the event to stop. But after a brief intermission,
Latest.
the show
Latest an
continued
hour.
almost as if nothing happened. That made a lot of people mad. The decision to continue the show caused a lot of backlash. But there is an even bigger issue. Some people
I would
blamed
assume
the
it would cause
organizers for
backlash.
not doing enough to prevent the accident. At a press conference after the accident,
Like, this is what I mean. With all the tech and stuff we have today, they're not making sure people are safe. Yes, he's done it dozens of times, but you got to account for the possibility that it could just snap, that it could just unhook. Like, they're not accounting for this. They're thinking, oh, he's done it multiple times, he'll be fine. Like,
one
fuck,
reporter
bro.
asked about it.
It's just common sense.
There were no precautionary measures taken. Why not?
First of all, I resent your tone. This was a tragic accident.
The questions did not end there. Owen's widow, Martha,
bro.
later sued the WWF. She argued that the stunt
Exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. Sue them motherfuckers. Get paid. And then at least if you're sad, you can cry in a fucking mansion.
was not handled
I mean,
safely. About a year
I bet she's paid as fuck anyway because he was a WWE superstar. But that's not the
later,
point.
she received an $18 million settlement. Many wrestling
18 mil! 18 mil! Holy shit! 18 mil! That's more than that. Bro, holy shit. 18 mil is crazy. You don't have to work a day in your life. Yeah, guys, what's up? So today I just won 18 mil from court. Yeah, my husband died. But, you know, I'm gonna cry about it in the big fuck-ass 20-room mansion that I fucking have now. Because I'm so paid. That's probably what she was like. Ching, shibby.
events
Like,
are
holy
still
shit.
aired live. But today, companies put more effort into keeping performers safe because no one wants another live tragedy like that again. Every story in this video started as a normal day. A baseball game, an air show, a wrestling match. None of those people knew what was coming. My friends, life doesn't warn you, so don't wait for things to be perfect before you appreciate what you have today. Visual Venture.
That was a good ass video, chat. Holy shit, that was a good ass video.